and welcome to another video. Today I will do something different and I will talk about karmic astrology, which is one of my favorite fields of astrology, and more specifically about the 12th house, which is the main karmic house in the chart. And if you don't have any planets in the 12th house, it doesn't mean that you don't have any karma. You should just look at the sign on the cusp of the 12th house and its ruler, and then see where this ruler is placed within the chart by house and by sign and what aspects it makes to other planet. But this is more complicated. Today we will look at the planet placements in the 12th house, and I will explain what they mean from a karmic perspective, starting from the sun. So the sun in the 12th house has a couple of meanings. First of all, there could be father karma. So the father in the current incarnation could have been your father in the previous incarnations or previous life or previous lives. And you were perhaps the daughter or the son, and there could be some karma that was accumulated, and now you came back to resolve it. So there could be some issues and misunderstanding in this lifetime that you have as a result of the issues that you carried over from the previous incarnations. And oftentimes also with the sun in the 12th house, the father is absent for various reasons. This could be because he's working a lot. This could be because the parents divorced and he's no longer there every day. It's just not regularly. Or it could be also that he died. So it could be different reasons. Oftentimes the father is physically there but emotionally detached. And another meaning of the sun in the 12th house is that the soul, the incarnating soul, received a lot of recognition, a lot of attention in the previous incarnation or incarnations. So it could have been a person, a famous person, a very popular, or a king or a royalty or a celebrity or a prime minister, someone wealthy and someone very famous, someone who got anything that he or she wanted. And because of that, the soul received so much attention that it decided to incarnate into the current body, to the current incarnation. And she wants to work from behind the scene. So oftentimes people with the 12th house sun, they prefer to be behind the scene. They maybe avoid crowds. Their jobs are maybe not in the limelight. If it make so something behind the scene, again I'm repeating myself, but it's just such a good description of someone with the sun in the 12th house, at least until the sun, this progress sun moves into the first house, which could be 30 years or less or more, depending where how far the sun is positioned from the ascendant. So oftentimes recognition for any achievements, any hard work, it's delayed. It's delayed until a later stage of life. And some people may actually really struggle with that, especially if they are still absorbed with this energy of receiving anything they want, which was in the previous lives. So patience is a big lesson. Be patient, because these souls are often used to getting anything they want, and as soon as possible, immediately even. So patience is a big lesson to learn. And for that reason, it is important that the job that they do, they don't do it for the recognition. They do it because they want the job to be done. Because the recognition, they might not always receive it, and there could be a big disappointment. And if they forget about the ego, if they forget about receiving a reward for what they're doing, if they just want to do it because they want something to be good, they want to complete the project, it will go much smoother this way. And moving on, let's talk about the moon. So the moon, and here we think about the woman, the mother, So here, with the moon in the 12th house is connected with the karma with the mother. So being over mothered, or being over nurtured or under nurtured. So something to do with the mother. And it's oftentimes is the mother from this incarnation. Was your mother or child in the previous incarnation or incarnations? Because as I said earlier, with the father, the son, if the karma is not resolved in a incarnation, then it moves on to the next one, and you need to reincarnate in a similar role again and work on it until you balance it and resolve any issues there might be. So with the sun with the moon, sorry, in the 12th house, with moon in Cancer, there could be over nurturing, too much nurturing. There could be also too much attachment. With the moon in Aquarius, perhaps the mother was detached in the previous life and she didn't give you, or maybe if you were the mother, then you didn't give the child enough nurturing, enough love. With the moon in Pisces, there could have been too much sensitivity involved in mothering or being mothered in the previous incarnation or incarnations. And oftentimes people with displacement, they are introvert if it comes to emotions and their feelings. So they don't really like to talk about how they feel, or if they get angry, they find it challenging to express their feelings, or they might not even want to talk about their feelings. They kind of close in their shell, especially talking here about moon in Cancer in the 12th house. And they just need to get over it by themselves, maybe by spending some time on their own. And their relationships with their mothers are often disturbed from a young age. And it's quite a challenging relationship. So, in order to fix this relationship, it's very it's good to be aware. It's good to be aware of this karmic issue there might be, and forgiveness, and trying to let go of any issues, because finish, whatever we don't finish in this lifetime, we will have to carry it to the next incarnation. So you may have to come back with your mother in a similar role to resolve the issues that you left behind in this lifetime. And let's move to the next planet. It's Mercury. And with Mercury, the planet that rules communication and mind, here what comes in our minds, probably the first thing is the communication that is affected. So there is some karma connected to communication. And this could be that communication wasn't used in the right way in the previous lives or life. If there was gossiping involved, this could be connected to Mercury in Gemini in the 12th house. So too much gossiping, talking behind other people's backs. Or, for example, Mercury in Scorpio, manipulation, revenge. So anything, any adjectives connected to Scorpio here would be very useful. These are connected to the Mercury in Scorpio karma. Mercury in Sagittarius, this could be sarcasm. This could be also lack of tact and saying maybe something without thinking, and as a result of that, insulting the other person. Too much criticism, Mercury in Virgo, or anything to do with like too much analysis as well, too many analysis or criticism, as I already said. With any planets aspecting Pluto, there could be some enforcement or forcing your ideas on other people or person. And so these are some example of Mercury in the sign in the 12th house. And also Mercury in the 12th house could bring some learning difficulties, also the communication blockages, communication issues, Also, maybe some writing blockages, generally communication defects as well. All right, so let's move to another planet, Venus. So Venus is a planet of love and relationships. And here in the 12th house, Venus could bring a lot of different dilemmas related to love life. So with the Venus, we need to look at the sign that Venus is placed in to get some more insights of what kind of karma could be connected to this placement. And with Venus in Aquarius, there could be too much detachment in a relationship in the previous incarnation or incarnations. With Cancer, the opposite, too much attachment. Sagittarius could have brought some issues with beliefs, maybe freedom, too much freedom. And then we've got Scorpio. There could have been power struggles, jealousy, too much intensity. Any of the mutable signs, Pisces, also Sagittarius, Gemini, specifically Gemini, I would say, there could have been issues connected to cheating and not being faithful in the relationship. So in this lifetime, the incarnating soul will have to deal with that karma accumulated in the previous incarnation or incarnations, if this is a repeated pattern. And for this people with displacement, it can be challenging to find the right partner because they may have to first deal with the issues from the previous incarnation. So let's say if you have Venus in Gemini, you may have issues staying committed to one person. And this is the karmic issue, the karmic dilemma that you will have to deal with until you will find the right partner. So once you deal with this problem that you may have, then it will be much easier for you to establish a smooth relationship. Also, with Venus in this house, there, if you have Venus in the 12th house, it's possible that you had strong female past lives. And in men's chart, it could be that woman in the current lifetime could have been your woman in the past life. So if you feel a very strong connection to a female, this could be someone that you have already been with in the past life. All right, so let's move to the next sign. We've got, sorry, not sign, planet. We've got Mars. Mars, the ruler of Aries, and Mars is connected to warriors, soldiers, males, strength, domination, leadership. And oftentimes, similarly like with Venus, there could have been a strong male incarnation in the past life. So strong past life as a man or previous incarnations as well. So continuous incarnations as a man. And in the female chart, this could be that the man in this lifetime, if you have found someone that you have feel very, very strong bond to, this could have been someone that you have already been with in the past life. But this is just like something interesting, like an interesting fact. So let's go back to Mars in the 12th house, what it means. With Mars in the 12th house, there will be karmic issues connected to violence, to leadership, to assertiveness. So on one hand, you could have been a soldier who developed good leadership skills in the past life, self-reliance, independence, will. But on the other hand, you could have been a violent person, a warrior, someone who couldn't control their aggression, their intensity. And people with displacement, oftentimes with the soul decides to incarnate into a female body because it needed to balance the energies, the masculine energies that it accumulated in the previous incarnations. So it needs more feminine energy and more gentleness, more sensitivity. So this is one of the lessons in the 12th house natives to learn. So if you are a female specifically, and you feel that you don't have this feminine side in you enough, at least, then it is vital that you develop some, maybe some artistic skills or talent, something, some feminine hobby or something like this, in order to grow this feminine energy inside you, because that's one of the lessons for you to learn in this incarnations. All right, so let's move to the next planet, and this is Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet that rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter is about expansion, about wealth, abundance. So, with Jupiter in the 12th house, there could be karma connected to someone who couldn't deal well with managing their resources. And as a result of that, maybe there was overindulgence that took place in the past life or past lives, inaccurate management of resources, bad handling of assets. So anything to do with assets, of resources, of wealth, it was badly managed and badly handled. Sagittarius is a traditional ruler of the ninth house. So oftentimes people with this placement have very deep rooted knowledge, ancient knowledge inside them. So they might be interested in ancient knowledge, in Egyptian, specifically, in what happened in Egypt. So they might be interested in history, because oftentimes they actually lived during these times, and that knowledge is still somewhere inside them. So there could be an interest in archaeology, in history, in ancient history as well. Saturn. So with Saturn in the 12th house, this could have been a life of isolation. So there could have been imprisonment. There could have been something to do with monastery. So spending a lot of time in monastery. And it's a very, very lonely past life. And the soul is used to being on their own. And in this lifetime, people with displacement, for until they reach maybe the middle age, they like to be alone. They like to spend time on their own. They don't really like crowds. They don't really need that many friends. They like their own environment. And their lesson, at least until they reach the age of 40, is to better understand themselves, to learn about themselves, to have a journal, to write about their emotions, to know themselves from inside and outside. And only then they will be able to release these blockages that they carried from the previous incarnations and receive the gifts that come with Saturn, which is self reliance, confidence, discipline. These are very important qualities that they can receive, because Saturn feels very comfortable in the 12th house. It's just the patience, which they actually have, and they can achieve wonderful things, but it just may take time to get to them. All right, so we reached Uranus, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. And Uranus brings unexpected events, sudden situations, and oftentimes you may experience throughout your life, if you have Uranus in the 12th house, deja vu incidents. Like, oh, this has happened before, like, the deja vu feeling. So it's quite common with people, for people with displacement. Also, dreams may come back, past lives, incidents may come back in your dreams, past life situations, past life events. And this could be events if you dream about some catastrophe or catalysm, and this could be connected to your past life, because Uranus in the 12th house has connections with Atlantis. Oftentimes, people who have Uranus in their natal chart, these are souls who lived during Atlantis. times. And Atlantis, the technology in Atlantis was as developed as it is today in our world, or even more. So you may actually be interested in technology, how it works. You may enjoy gadgets, buying new gadgets, whatever comes out, you may actually want to get it because you're really interested. However, if you abused technology in the past life, the usage, the knowledge, the power, in this lifetime, you might actually struggle in understanding how technology works. So it could be one way or the other, depending on the past life karma. Also, there could be interest in energy healing, in crystals, in musical healing, Reiki. So all the energy healing, this is something very, very strongly connected to Uranus in the 12th house as well. All right, so let's move on to Neptune. Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. Neptune in the 12th house. So this could have been someone in the past life who couldn't deal well with their problems or issues, and he or she was escaping into institutions, religion, into drugs, alcohol, addictions. On the other hand, it could have been someone who was constantly sacrificing themselves and not thinking about what emotional or other consequences it might have. And people with displacement or souls with displacement don't have any set boundaries, and they find it difficult to distinguish between their own pain and the pain of others. So the lesson they must learn in this lifetime is to build strong boundaries and strengthen their own aura in order to be able to merge with another being, with the universe. So they need to build these strong boundaries. And we reached Pluto in the 12th house. And here with Pluto in the 12th house, Pluto could create phobias, lots of transformation throughout the current incarnation, lots of changes. And this soul had a past lives which were quite intense, also full of changes, but full of quite traumatic experiences, I would say. Karma connected to using or abusing the power, manipulation, being in control of powerful people or authorities. Also, if you have any Pluto aspecting either Mars or Saturn, this could be linked to some traumatic collective experiences. So if you have any memories, for example, this could be Holocaust, or other traumatic past life experience that could be coming back to you in your dreams, or some memories or some deja vu, for example. Also, people with displacement have healing abilities, and this placement is specifically found in charts of doctors, nurses, or healers. And also, if your Pluto is in Cancer, or if Pluto is making any aspect to the moon, there could be some clairvoyance or mediumship ability as well. So depending on the sign that Pluto is placed in, this will give you more hints of what kind of old skills you could have brought into this incarnation. So it's quite interesting. There is so much more to talk about Pluto in the 12th house, and I actually might make a video in the future about this. But today we just covered a little bit information, and this is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.